Shocking police betrayal. GB News exposes how British bobbies are failing the public. 250,000 crimes ignored every year. Lord Glasman reveals his personal horror. Mugged in broad daylight, and the police did nothing. This isn't just a failure, it's a total collapse of law and order. The public trust is shattered. How did it get this bad? The answer will stun you. Before this, I want to say a big thank you to all our supporters who helped us reach our very first 1,000 subscribers. That achievement truly means a lot and inspires us to keep giving you our best. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. Most people who watch our videos aren't actually subscribed. We know life gets busy, but subscribing is completely free and it really helps us grow. Our next goal is 3,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can get there even faster. You can also support the channel by checking out the links in the description, where you'll find some valuable books. They cost you no extra, but each purchase gives us a small commission that helps us improve our content. Thank you so much for being part of this journey.
There's been a heck of a row going on, Michael Ellis, on crime figures. Whether you look at the crime survey of England and Wales or reported police crimes, and that's the sort of figure I've been using, but now we find even that is massively underestimating the level of crime in this country.
It's totally failing. I think the police are failing, and part of the reason they are sadly failing is because the rank and file officers don't have the support that they ought to have from their senior officers. I'm more critical of commanding officers, chief officers, who have not been supportive in the way that they should be. I also don't think, we go back to the court system, I don't think the courts have been as supportive of the police as they ought to have been. There's been too much intervention. For example, on protest, on the law of protest, the Metropolitan Police, one of the reasons they're so hamstrung nowadays in what they do is over the last 30 years, there have been so many judgments and rulings which have effectively neutered the police's ability to do things. They get prosecuted and they lose if they kettle people in. They get prosecuted and they lose if they use batons. They get prosecuted.
They're in a tough position, yeah.
Whatever they do, they're in a tough position. But on the crime figures, the easiest thing to do, of course, is for police to go for people with documentary-style offences, motoring offences, things because they get their stats up. The actual offences that matter to people, like burglary and so on, totally out of control.
No, they are. And do you regret what the Conservative government did with policing over 14 years?
Well, I don't think it's I don't think that's necessarily the Conservative previous government's problem or fault. What they ought to have done,
they did cut police numbers at a time when crime was rising.
Well, what they of course did was close some police stations. Lots of police stations, but I don't actually think police stations are the problem. The police stations now are not actually. You don't need as many police stations as you used to need, but I don't think the police have been supported by successive governments, and I don't think the prison service has been supported by successive governments. Those are definitely connected.
Well, you know, I mean, the former Conservative Attorney General blames successive governments. That's his way of saying we got it wrong, I think.
I think so.
Maurice, you know, crime in London.
Well, listen, 2 nights ago I had my bag stolen. I was sitting outside a restaurant having a meal, went to the loo. I hope it wasn't the Russians, because I had loads of notes from Ukraine, but my computer stolen. And I
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, lost my bag, lost my computer, lost my writing. Okay, there was no way that I could contact. I tried to ring the police to report it.
How do you report crime?
They wouldn't take my call. 999 said it's not a serious incident. Then I tried to get hold of the not serious incident, and they just put me towards a website where they didn't even ask my name, and there is a breakdown of effective relationship between the public and the police. There's a breakdown of trust where we don't think that they care. So there's got to be a restoration, really, of effective policing. I say go back to Peel, local policing. I mean, this said every election we're going to put more policemen on the beat. You didn't, we didn't. They're not
happened
present
for 50 years.
No, I think that's got
to. And when you say the local aspect is vital, because
and that's where they gather intelligence.
Exactly, that's where you need to know who the criminals are, who the troublemakers are. It's become procedural. It's become hamstrung. I mean, my story is just, and people are disgusted by the violations.
Maurice, you know, I met someone yesterday. He'd been mugged at 11 a.m. in Fulham the other day.
11
the scale of it It's horrific.
But chief officers have not wanted to do that, by the way, go back to, you know, that type of policing. I think it's what people have said they've wanted, what the public, it's rather like immigration. The public have been calling for this for 50 years, and it hasn't actually been happening.
Well, I do meet, Nigel, and I'm sure you do, but I meet policemen regularly who are disgusted by the terms of their work.
They're frustrated as hell.
And so I think we've got to go back to first principles on this.